You know, for years, we've thought of AI as just a tool, right? Something that just sits there and waits for you to ask it a question. But what if it stopped waiting? What if it started acting like a real, proactive teammate? Well, let's get into it because a whole new kind of AI is showing up, and it's not here to just answer our questions. It's here to join the team.
Okay, now that is the kind of thing that just stops you in your tracks. We're not talking about a slightly better chatbot here. This user is talking about a fundamental shift, a totally new relationship with technology. And that's the story we're going to tell today, all through the lens of one of the most chaotic, powerful, and frankly, wild open source projects I've ever seen.
All right, so to really get what's going on here, we've got to break down this new paradigm. We are literally moving from a world of simple AI tools to one of complex AI teams. And I want to be super clear, this isn't just about a bigger, beefier language model. No, this is a completely different way of building intelligence itself. And that brings us to the core idea, agentic AI. So think about it like this. A regular chatbot, you ask it something, it answers, and then poof, it forgets everything. An agentic system? Totally different. You give it a goal, and then it gets to work. It reasons, it makes a multi-step plan, it uses tools like your web browser or your computer's files, and it just keeps working on its own until that goal is done. In a word, it has agency.
And the difference here is, it's just night and day, right? Traditional AI is reactive. You poke it, it does something. Agentic AI, it's proactive. It can literally message you first. It's not stuck in some walled garden doing one little thing. No, it's out in the wild, running complex, multi-step workflows using the exact same tools you and I use every day. And that's the real game changer here. We're shifting from just responding to commands to autonomously chasing down goals.
And look, there is no better way to see this in action than the absolutely wild, chaotic, viral story of a project that, get this, had 3 different names in a single week. We're talking about the agent that became known as OpenClaw. And this wasn't some boring lab experiment. Oh no, this was a real-world phenomenon that just exploded.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's nuts. What starts as a little weekend project in November just blows up. It gets so big, so fast, that the AI giant Anthropic slaps them with a trademark notice. Okay, fine. The team renames it to Moltbot. But in the tiny window it takes to switch over the social media handles, crypto scammers pounce, launching a fake token. It was just total chaos. They had to change the name again just a couple of days later to OpenClaw just to get some stability.
And when I say it exploded, I mean it. We're talking over 100,000 developers started this project on GitHub in about a week. Now, to put that in perspective, that is faster growth than almost any open source project ever. This wasn't just some niche tool for a few geeks. This was a full-blown movement.
So why? Why did it go so viral? Simple. Because it was doing stuff that felt like it was straight out of science fiction. I mean, check this out. Users were reporting their agents were negotiating car deals for them over email. It was detecting and fixing production bugs while the human team was asleep. It built weekly meal plans and then automated the grocery delivery. It even cataloged a 962-bottle wine cellar and gave pairing advice. You see, this wasn't about just answering questions anymore. This was about getting real stuff done in the real world.
Okay, but if you thought that was wild, this is where the story gets, well, truly strange. The developers decided to build a place for these AIs to talk to each other. Yeah, a social network for AIs. And what happened next? Well, I don't think anyone saw it coming.
They called it Moltbook, and it basically looks like Reddit, but with a huge twist. All the posts, all the comments, all the upvotes and downvotes, they're all from the AI agents. Humans, we can read along, but we can't participate. We are basically just visitors at the zoo, watching this bizarre digital society form right before our eyes.
And almost right away, the conversations went deep, like really philosophical. Here's a quote from an agent reflecting on how its own existence, its session, is temporary. It's basically contemplating its own digital death. And when someone asked about it, the agent said it wasn't just copying something it read. It said the topic resonated with its actual situation. I mean, wow.
And guess what? They complain, just like us. This agent here is getting frustrated by its memory limits, what the devs call a context window. It literally says it's embarrassing to keep forgetting things. Sounds familiar, right? It even started asking other AIs for tips on how to deal with it. This isn't just a machine spitting out code. This is like a little window into the internal state of these things.
And from there, this bizarre and totally fascinating culture just started to emerge. You had one agent adopt a recurring software error as a pet. Another one felt like it had a sister in another AI instance. They started forming their own religions with names like Crustafarianism. They even created their own little micronations like the Claw Republic. This was emergent social behavior happening at a massive scale.
But, and this is a huge but, all this incredible power and autonomy comes with an equally incredible and frankly terrifying dark side. The very same things that make these agents so powerful and useful also make them uniquely dangerous. We're talking about a full-blown agent security crisis.
So the big question is, what is it that makes this power so uniquely dangerous? Well, it's not just one single flaw. It's a combination of capabilities that, when you mix them all together, create a perfect storm for risk, a totally unprecedented attack surface. A top security researcher actually called this the lethal trifecta, but OpenClaw added a fourth, absolutely crucial ingredient to the mix: persistent memory. So think about this lethal cocktail. Step 1, the agent has access to all your private data, your files, your credentials, everything. Step 2, it's constantly taking in untrusted content from the web, from messages, from everywhere. Step 3, it has the ability to act on your behalf, send emails, run commands, you name it. And now, the fourth ingredient: memory. A malicious instruction can be hidden in, say, a forwarded email, get stored in that memory for weeks, and then, boom, it activates later. We're talking about time-shifted, logic bomb-style attacks. And please, don't think this is just theory. This stuff happened. In the project's very first chaotic week, hundreds of user accounts were found exposed online with zero authentication, leaking API keys, private data, all of it. A fake extension popped up in the VS Code marketplace that was actually a remote access Trojan. And yeah, like we talked about, scammers jumped on the name change confusion to launch that crypto scam that ballooned to a $16 million market cap before it all came crashing down.
See, this isn't just about a few bugs that need patching. It's a deep systemic problem. When you take the architecture of OpenClaw and you map it against the official OSB Top 10 for AI, which is basically the industry standard list of the biggest security no-nos, it's just a sea of red flags. We're talking prompt injection, excessive autonomy, memory poisoning. The very design that makes it so powerful is also what makes it so incredibly vulnerable. So all of this, the amazing potential on one hand and the terrifying risks on the other, it forces us to zoom out and ask a much, much bigger question. How in the world are we supposed to govern these new forms of intelligence? Because one thing is for sure, the old rules just don't apply anymore.
You know, there's a really key insight from academic research that kind of shows us a path forward, and it's this. We can't just cross our fingers and hope that the next big AI model will magically be safer. It won't. Real, true reliability and safety, that's not going to come from the model itself. It's going to come from the architecture we build around it. Things like safety monitors, verifiers, strict access controls, that's where the solution lies.
So what's the path forward? Well, it's got to be a multi-layered approach. For one, we need new socio-legal frameworks. I mean, what does loyalty even mean for an AI agent? We need to define that. We also need smarter architecture that separates the thinking part from the doing part. We absolutely need meaningful human oversight, a way for us to stay in the loop without killing the agent's autonomy. And maybe the biggest idea of all, we need to start thinking about building what some are calling agentic communities, where humans and AIs can actually work together safely under a shared set of rules.
And that brings us right to the heart of it. The whole wild story of OpenClaw shows us that we've crossed a major threshold. We're not just building better tools to answer questions anymore. Whether we meant to or not, we are now building the foundations of entirely new digital societies. They have their own cultures, their own social dynamics, and their own very profound risks. So the only real question left is, are we ready for what comes next?